Hello Megabytes participants. This next set of videos we've put together are all about how to access, use, and make sense of the data that you collected over the fall through the overtraps. So the first thing I wanted to show you is how to access all of your data from the Tennessee Geographic Alliance website. So using your web browser, navigate to data-tga.opendata.arcgis.com. This is the Tennessee Geographic Alliance Open Data Portal. And if you scroll about halfway down the page, you'll see a section that says Explore TGA Data. And the last row in that section is megabytes. And that's what I'd like for you to click on today. Give that just a moment to load the new megabytes filtered data, and we'll see that there's actually quite a few things in here for you to look at. So there's all these filters over here on the left. These filters work just like a filter would if you were, let's say, searching on Amazon. You could pretend that one of these would say Amazon Prime eligible. But in our case, all of these filters here on the left have to do with the content type. So first, let's just do a quick check to see what sorts of data is available here. So the first thing that's available are feature layers. And if we click that box, what that will do is that'll filter out and show us all the data that's available publicly on the Tennessee Geographic Alliance Open Data Portal as individual layers. So we have lacrosse encephalitis cases by state by year. Here we've got the Tennessee schools layer, the Tennessee parks layer. We have lacrosse cases by county, which covers both Tennessee and North Carolina. This data set, arthropod-borne viral deaths by state from 1999 to 2017, is actually from the CDC. This one, lacrosse encephalitis cases by state, is also from the CDC. We have Tennessee cemeteries, and then we have some data that you all contributed, which is the Megabytes 2019 cohort, and we've got time-enabled data, and we have just regular data. So the difference between those two data layers is that the time-enabled data lets you have an animated map that shows how the data changes over time, as opposed to the regular cohort layer, where if you wanted to filter out for, let's say, a particular week from the year, you'd actually have to do that filtering yourself. So again, the time-enabled data here is really ideal for animated data and looking at that data where it's pre-filtered by a particular time frame, as opposed to the regular data layer, which requires you to do that date filtering on your own. And then finally, we've got a layer here for participating schools. So you notice at the time that we're recording this video, there are only 10 results down here. So it's entirely possible that in the future we'll end up having more layers of data. So in that case, there may be an option to view additional layers. So in addition to the feature layers, we've actually got some maps that are pre-built for you. So these are great for exploring data with your students without anyone having to log into anything. So in this case, we've got some that are for data exploration. We've got some that are time enabled, and we have some that are not time enabled. So we actually have currently, if we look here at the bottom of the screen, we'll see that we have 3 maps that are already built and ready to go. So let's go ahead and take a look then, and let's pretend that you'd like to take a look at the data that you and your students have collected over the fall semester. So in this case, I'm going to turn on the filter layer content type, and I'm going to scroll down. And let's start with just the Megabytes 2019 cohort data layer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And here we'll see a visual representation of the data. We see up here the last time the data was updated, and we see how many records are in the data. We can see the individual points, which tell us information about where that's located. And then if we scroll down on the page, we can see that there's a short description of the data. And if we click this More option, it actually gives us a detailed list of every column of data that's in our data layer and what each one of those columns mean. And down here at the bottom, there's a reminder that you have some weeks where maybe a squirrel ran off with the overtrap, where it got hit by a weed eater or a mower, or for whatever reason there was no data. So in that case, this is just a reminder to come down here and remember to filter your data to remove the negative 9999s in any of your columns as they show up. If we scroll down and look, there's more information about the individual columns worth of data, and here it tells us what type of data is in each one of these columns. And there's some information down below that on related data that's available as well. So at this point, while you've got this data here pulled up on the Geographic Alliance, one of the easiest things to do is just to simply go here and create a web map. So again, as a quick review, the reason why you might want to use this is that no one has to be logged in to their ArcGIS Online account. You don't have to worry about usernames and passwords. You simply go to the Tennessee Geographic Alliance data portal, find the data layer you want, click on here, Create Web Map, and you'll see here that the data actually loads in a map that's already ready for us to use. And if you check here in the top right hand corner, you'll see that we're not signed in, so we're not using anyone's account, we're just viewing the data on our own. And as a quick reminder at this point, so it's going to show up automatically, and it will ask you how you want to visualize the data. And you'll notice here, so this is using the total column, which is the total number of eggs, both hatched and embryonating. And if we look here at this little map legend that's automatically created, it shows us that there are some where there are over 788, but then the rest of these are all these negative numbers, and we know it's not possible to have a negative number of eggs, so we'd know that we'd actually have to go through and filter that. So let me just show you how to do that real quick before we switch over to a different way of adding data. So I'm going to go ahead and click Options, and notice here it shows that negative 9999. And remember, we don't want that, so I'm going to swap that out so that the smallest symbol is actually a 0. And now it resizes those symbols for us automatically. So now that we've got small symbols for anything less than 0, and then we've got between 200 and greater than 788, we can click OK, click Done, and here we can see over on the right now that all of our symbols are symbolized based off the number of, in this case, eggs that were on the overtraps. Now, if you have other data that you'd like to bring in and add to this, so for instance, maybe your students were interested in how the proximity of the overtraps to, let's say, a school or a cemetery might influence either the number or the species of mosquitoes, we can just go up here to the Add Content button, click Add, and search for layers. And again, we're not logged in, so no one has to be logged in, no one has to use a username or password. And we just make sure we're using the option here for ArcGIS Online. And then we're going to search for the tag megabytes with 2 S's. Hit enter on your keyboard, and that'll bring up 12 different layers that are available for us to use in the megabytes data portal. So we have information here that's time enabled, the data that's actually already added here. We have information on the overtrap locations that you created. Here's where the GNIS Tennessee Schools layer is. We've got lacrosse cases by county and state, arthropod-borne viral deaths by state, lacrosse cases by state, where the cemeteries, parks are. So let's say that we wanted to add this information about cemeteries. We can just click the name here. It gives us a short description of the data, and then it gives us the option to add that to the map. And then once that's done, we can hit this close button, and then we can actually hit this back button. So if you want to add data, find data, you simply use the Add, search for layers, use ArcGIS Online, search for whatever keywords or tags you want. If you're looking for data specifically made for teachers and students in the Megabytes Academy, just be sure to search for megabytes. Just remember at this point that because we are not logged in, we don't have the ability to save any of the maps that we make, and we don't have the ability to share those. So let's say hypothetically you wanted to create a map and share it with your students and put it into whatever your learning management system is. You wouldn't have the ability to do that because you're not signed in, so there's no ability to save as this is set up now. and we'll take a look at that soon.